Hello, we're the Year 8 Art Ambassadors from North Cambridge Academy. We are a group of students who are working at Kettle in the Fitzwilliam for a term. Today we are meeting Issam Kourbaj and we are going to ask him some questions about his art and exhibition at Kettle.
What inspired you to become an artist?
I don't remember that I never had any time in my life that I did not think to be an artist. From very, very early stages, I knew there is something about the world that I really would like to look at, get inspired by. And when I was little boy, I had no books. So the only book I had was the roof or the ceiling. It used to have so many beautiful stains of the rain and the snow. So this was the best book I had, and it provided so many imaginations for me. And of course, the more I invested, like anything else, the more I invested in educating not only my eye, but all other senses. And step by step, I learned to learn that actually art has so many different meanings.
Why did you decide to make art related to conflict?
Conflict is something that I am not specialized in. Actually, I studied painting and drawing and architecture and theater design, and I work with scientists and I work with mathematicians and archaeologists. Just when I heard about the stories from my home, I felt that this is the least I should do is to be there and to listen and to translate what I am looking at into an artwork. And that is, of course, is not easy, because it is, when I did my work about Cubans, they are my fellow humans, but they are far away from me. I did some work with Baghdad libraries, but Baghdad is far away from me, but this is my home. Therefore, it took me some time to bring myself to work with that conflict. And the conflict is still on, and I'm still working. As far as the conflict is on, the conflict I am bringing this conflict to my studio.
What materials do you like to use in your artwork?
I will answer now, but actually I hope that you will come and see my exhibition and see that actually it's not the material, but it's what it can do. When I was studying painting in Damascus, I used to paint on canvas, on paper, and using oil and oil pastel and many other things. This is what is known conventional art material. I work with ink, I work with so many different art known, if you like, materials. But for the last few years, I prefer to use something else. I prefer to use something I might find in the street. Somebody might give me a present, and that present, instead of just looking at it, I might convert it to an artwork. But there is not one material that I particularly, no, actually I'm lying. I do like things, actually. I promised myself if I would go to a desert island, I just would like, I am very simple person, I would like a small pot of quink ink. And I could easily dip my finger and work with my finger, or I could find a twig to work with. But I found that particular ink. I am not advertising for them, I hope, but actually it has so many beautiful voices. Material has a voice, and this is what I am interested in, how I could explore that voice.
Why do you burn seeds in your art?
Again, my childhood actually very well connected to seeds. I come from the southern part of Syria with beautiful volcanic mountains and fields where in my childhood I used to collect wheat. I don't know if you know, in geography there is that part of the world, it's called the Fertile Crescent. The Fertile Crescent is called the Fertile Crescent because its shape, but as well because all the crops of the world originated in that part of the world. And in 2015, we had a seed bank in Aleppo, and it was bombed. And many of these seeds had to be a migrant in their own right, to go to somewhere else, to Svalbard, in a totally different environment, and they have to find their way to Morocco and Lebanon to be regenerated. Now, how could I bring this idea of seeds and struggle if I don't burn them? If you look particularly, I'm interested in wheat. And wheat have very much the same as a human skin. And I felt that by just looking at these seeds and enlarging them and emphasizing there is a tragedy in war, not only cities and people are affected, but natural resources too. So think about how many birds, how many trees, how many seeds are struggling. So what I thought of, instead of bringing, if you like, my exhibition around only people, I am representing them, but through different means. So the absence of a human is another way of making them present.
Why do you make sculptures out of matches and what do they represent?
Beautiful. Matches is actually, again, it's something that I lived with, because in my childhood we used to camp in the mountains, and the only way of actually being warm in the mountains is to make your own fire. So you have to. So this is the early memories of burning matches, and always my parents used to tell me off, because I was really interested in this idea of the birth of light and the dying of light when you are holding that. And just that is a childhood experience that I forgot about it. But one day in 2014, I saw a picture of a refugee camp in Jordan. Many Syrian refugees had to live there, and they are waiting and waiting and waiting, and no known, if you like, date when they have to return to their homes. And the dust and the scene of that picture was really very moving. So I thought I would like to do something about that, but I don't want to represent it as it is. I want something else. So I know a song, it's called Another Day Lost. And I thought, actually, there is a very beautiful thing. Here is a refugee camp, here is a song, what else I could do with it? So I started rehearsing my thoughts, rehearsing the material. Talking about material, somebody asked me. So I thought, actually, how about if I make a model of a refugee camp made out of recycled books. I go to Oxfam to buy their books that they don't want, and I make art out of it. And I surrounded it by a fence. For the first time, I was using burnt matches. I surrounded this refugee camp with burnt matches. And the idea of the burnt matches, that is each burnt match represented a day since the Syrian uprising on the 15th of March 2011. I am interested in this idea of light and darkness, of fire has these two powers of nurturing but of destruction, of like water, like light. There is so many things that has embedded with its DNA has these two different forms, different qualities.
What influences do you hope to have on people through your art?
When I make my artwork and I put it outside, I might know about my own work that much, but it's only when people interact with it, I start seeing something I didn't see in the first place when it was in my studio. Because in my studio, I am the one who is interacted with it. So by activating the artwork, by being in a particular gallery or space, it makes the artwork speak a different voice. The art has many functions, but one of them is to invite you or to open a new window or to surprise you. How many times I went to many other exhibitions? I went as one human being in, and then I went out totally different human. The world made different sense to me when I went outside that exhibition. That is not only the responsibility of the artist, that is the responsibility of me as a viewer as well as the artist.
What is your favourite artwork in the exhibition, or which one are you proud of and why?
I am going to invite you all to look at this particular piece. It's very recent, I'm still doing it in the studio. It's all to do with children of Gaza. What's happening in the world is something that is actually, I am really interested. And Gaza actually is not far from my city where I was born, although I am from the south of Syria. But just imagine, and the piece is called All But Milk. I am very interested in this piece because talking about material, the way how I'm using the material, the way how it's reflecting to what is happening now. My exhibition is called Urgent Archive. I feel this is what I am bringing to my studio. I am listening to the news and bringing something from that to my studio and reflecting on it.
What art would you like to make in the future?
It's difficult to answer it. Sometimes by actually deciding in advance what I would like to do, it undermines that conversation between the time I am living in, the material I am using, the space I am exhibiting. So sometimes that actually is not the best way forward to decide beforehand. I am talking about it in my own artwork. But in my current work, I feel I need to be surprised. I need to be... there is this kind of unexpectation, that is, I saw something, I heard something, I touched something that triggered the thought. And I need to be alert to that. It's not something that I could plan ahead. It's almost like, think about it, what I am doing, it's the closest to it is poetry. Think about it, a poet will not think in advance what I am going to write. It is, you react, of course you store. All we have is storage. All we have bags away from our mobile phones. We store quite a lot of memories and experiences and thoughts and conversations. And at one stage, we start taking these experiences and thoughts and put them together. So the idea of planning ahead, it is, of course, it is an important thing, but it's equally, I cannot plan it fully. So I have to act in these continuous search, continuous being always. We are all surrounded by so much around us, and we have to find somewhere to pick up something, and that makes us who we are.
How might your artwork change when the conflict stops?
Thank you. It's a very important question. It's very much, I would love to wake up tomorrow morning and the conflict is over. But this is probably very naive of me, because there is a problem of us as a human being that we never learn that we should celebrate our differences, not kill each other because we are different. As far as the conflict is there, I have to respond to it with my modest tools, because I don't expect that actually my tools is going to solve the conflict. But equally, I don't expect that I will spend the rest of my life only dealing with the question of conflicts. I have many other interests. I am interested in light, I am interested in optics, I am interested in performances, I am interested in, it is a cliche to say I am interested in everything. I hope that is, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, no conflict. But if it is not a conflict in Syria, there is another conflict in Palestine. If not conflict in Palestine, look what's happening in South America, look what's happening in global warming. It looks like, as humans, we cannot live without conflict. It looks like wrong, something wrong with us, that we cannot just be at peace with ourselves and with others. And this is the condition of peace. This is actually, it is a very extinct word. I think it should be extinct from the vocabulary of many languages. But I hope that we will have it regardless. So thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, Issam, for teaching us about your artwork. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.